Hey y'all, thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to check out another one of my videos. Today it is time for another Casual Katie Get Ready With Me, where I sit down and play with an eyeshadow palette and we just chit chat about random things typically. But today I do have a plan for what I'm going to be talking about, and it's going to be going through the rest of the assumptions. I asked you guys on my Instagram and YouTube assumptions about me because I wanted to do that type of video, and I got so many questions. I already did a video, I'll leave it linked up here, but I wasn't able to get through all of the questions, so I was like, you know what, I'll just do it the next time I have a Casual Katie Get Ready With Me and an older palette. I can finish all the questions, so that is what we're going to be diving into today. I finished Instagram, but I have a bunch on my YouTube community tab that I posted up there, so we're going to be getting into that while I play with the Half Cake Snack Pack palette. Say that 10 times fast. Let's go ahead and use this today while answering the rest of the assumptions, and I'm actually probably also going to be using some singles from DJ's Unique Boutique that she sent me a while back, because this is an all matte palette. I don't know, I just want a little bit of shimmer on my eyes today, so I'll use mattes from this, but then I'm also going to pop on a shimmer, especially for the inner corner, but I want a shimmer for my lid today, so we'll be using some DJ's Unique Boutique's single shadows as well. So I'm going to go ahead and prime my eyes, we'll roll the intro, and then we can jump right into it. Alright, so I primed with the ABH eye primer today. If you're curious, I try to mention that when I can remember. I've done several looks with this. I've done a very colorful look. I can't remember exactly the first look I did. I think I used a ton of color. I've done a more like fiery red with the orange and the yellow, and then I think that tone or that tone. It was really, really pretty. I think I did it in a previous Will I Buy It or something. Anyway, so I've used it a couple times. I'm trying to think of what I can do that will make sure it's like something different and not something I've already done. I'm not really wanting to use any of the neutralist shades over here or in the middle. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a yellow and hot pink combination on my eyes. I feel like that could be really pretty, and then I can deepen it up with this over here, because I think that's going to be the shadow that packs the most punch, because this blue is pretty light, especially when you blend it out. So that's my plan for right now. So let's go ahead and jump in. I'm going to be taking that first shade, which that's Fresh. I'll just point this shade right here, and I'm going to put that in my inner half, and then I will take this pink and kind of do it on the outer corner, and I might take a touch of this as well. Let's just jump in and see where this look goes. So let's go ahead, before I do jump into that, let me grab the first question that we're going to be answering today. Okay, first up, you are a clean freak. You love to keep your house spotless. Don't come visit my house right now. We'll just put that there. No, I am not. I mean, ideally, I feel like there's a part of me that's like, yes, I'd love to say that I'm like super clean. I like to be very organized. And ideally, yes, I'm someone who does like order and whatnot when it comes to my house. I feel like everyone does. But as far as like actually having that, absolutely not. I don't even know how to describe myself, but I don't mind living a little bit of chaos, and typically my house is pretty like chaotic throughout the day, and I'm okay with it. Like, I can live in that chaos and be very comfortable. One of the ways that my mom raised me, especially when we had a lot of young kids, was like, Katie, we clean up at the end of the night, or as well, we did a little bit like nap time, right before nap time, but typically the big time that we actually cleaned everything up and made sure everything looked nice and put together and put away was at the end of the night, because mom was like, there's no point in, you know, sitting there and cleaning everything up just for the children to come back in and tear it apart, because we had so many younger kids at the time when I was, you know, I think this is like 10, 12 and whatnot. And so I've really adopted that in my own home, and it also just fits my personality. Like, I really don't mind living in a bit of chaos for a bit if I know that like at some point it's going to get out clean. So typically during the day, I like toys are out, toys are all over the floor can be covered with it, but I have set times throughout the day where the children will help me pick up their messes and stuff, and I am trying to teach them like, okay, you're done with that, let's put it away, then move on to the next one. That's always, I feel like, fighting a losing battle. So typically I'm like, okay, we're about to sit and, you know, sit down for lunch. Mommy's gonna put lunch together. Now it's time for you children to pick up the floor. And they don't do anything crazy, because I do have younger kids. If you're new here, I have a 5 and 3-year-old and a 1.5-year-old. 1.5-year-old doesn't do anything. But the 5 and 3-year-old, I just have them pick things up. So I said, anything that's on the floor, put it on a couch, put it on a table or something, because that makes it easier for me to kind of like run through and just place everything where it's supposed to go. And that's kind of been our system. And then at night, after the children are in bed, I'm gonna go into fruit snack right there. At night, after the children are in bed, that's when I go and I put things away, I put things back in order, and I like to make sure that when I go to sleep at night, that the house is clean. Now, not spotless by any means, not entirely like clutter-free, but just clean. Like the sink is empty, The floors can mostly be done. Honestly, the floors is that one that I'm always feel like I'm letting go till the next day. But clear the counters. My thing with, you know, feeling like everything's clean is like cleaned spaces, open spaces. So I like the counters to be everything put away on it. I like the table to be cleared and everything on it is put away. So that's kind of my goal at the end of the night. And as long as that happens at the end of the night, like I am okay to live in a lot of chaos during the day. So like right now, if you were here, it's pretty messy. I just put my kids down for a nap. So it's not too terribly messy because I'm getting into the habit with them of doing a cleanup before nap time, before we kind of sit down and read a book and settle down to kind of help them prep and get in the mood for resting and whatnot. So it's not terribly messy, but it definitely isn't clean. I don't think I ever do dishes during the day. So by the end of the day, the sink is always overflowing with dishes to be done. And then the floors, my husband's awesome. He loves to vacuum. That's just like his thing. He finds it very enjoyable, and he's also someone who really doesn't like feeling dirt and, you know, crumbs and stuff on the floor. Me, I'm someone who is like, if I feel it too much and I can't get to the vacuum, I just go put on my house shoes, and that typically is what I wear throughout the day. I wear a house shoe so that I don't feel the crumbs and it doesn't bother me, but him, it does bother him. So he's very proactive when he comes home at night of getting out the vacuum, which is one of the reasons I sometimes forget, because if he doesn't go do it, I tend to just forget about it or leave it for last, and then I'm too tired. But anyway, you know, my husband will help clean up and vacuum and whatnot, and that's how I clean. But during the day, it can be very messy in the house. And honestly, like I just said, I have, you know, 3 little kids, and if you have kids at all, you know that, you know, you can clean it, yes, but as soon as you clean a place, the kids are like, ooh, this looks fun, and then it's a mess again. So that's why I like to clean at night. It's kind of like, you know, gives the kids this sense of like discovering something new when they wake up, because everything's cleaned and all their toys are, you know, mostly put away. I say mostly put away because we have a playroom, a play area of the house in this little like sunroom, and I only clean that about once a week. And other than that, like where I really clean out, straighten it, vacuum it out, make sure everything's back in its home, we tend to just place the toys back in there. So that is something that is, I will go to bed and that's a mess, but it's the playroom. It gets cleaned, deep cleaned and re-straightened once a week, and I'm good with that. So no, I am not a clean freak. All this to say, no, I am not a clean freak at all. I have my, you know, my methods to keep myself sane, and like I'm content with that, but I am also pretty okay with living in chaos for a little bit, like throughout the day, if I know that at the end of the day, the house will be in order by the time I go to bed, and I'm fine with that. So anyway, here's where we're at. I really like it. It's actually just naturally giving a purple hue right in the center there, which makes sense, mixing the blue and the pink. But I'm going to take just a touch with that same blue brush. I'm going to take a touch of that purple and just kind of define it and help it stand out a little bit more, because it's just naturally, you know, kind of mixing together. I'm just going to make the process quicker by popping some purple in there and continuing to blend. I think that looks really pretty. But yeah, the pigmentation on this palette, I think I've used it a total of 3 times before this. I really do enjoy it. It's a very nice little palette. I feel like I would love it a lot more if those more neutral tones were not, like neutral / mauve tones were not in here. I feel like it, for me at least, detracts a little bit from the palette, because it's like you got these pops of colors that are so fun, but then these 3 are just like, why are you here? I don't know. That's just me personally. But I mean, as you can see, like pigmentation wise, I really do enjoy it. That purple is a pretty thin purple, but for like, you know, inner corner or, you know, diffusing out the edge of something like I just did, diffusing these 2 together, I feel like it serves, you know, it works really nicely. I have no problems with it. It's not like it's patchy or anything, but I've used it on the outer corner, that purple, and it doesn't give me the depth that I want, but it's nice for how I'm using it now. Let me go ahead and take a clean brush, and I'm just going to take it over the top. Oh, actually, there is a bone color, so might as well use it. We're going to use this one. I'm just going to clean up above my brows, just because I feel like sometimes I can get a little messy, and I like it to not look too messy, I guess. Anyway, I'm just taking a random brush, and I'm just going to pack it on right at my brow, and then I'll blend it down to soften it out. Let me grab another question. Next question is, you love doing YouTube? Yes, I do. I really do enjoy it. It's something that was very unexpected when I started it, because I really didn't know if I would enjoy, like, you know, being on camera, having to talk. And there's an aspect of it that I still, not that I don't enjoy, but it definitely is a little bit like, I don't know, I don't think I'm very good with my words sometimes, and sometimes like I have to repeat myself a million times because I'm forever tripping over my words, and like you should see the stuff I cut out, you know, trying to trip over my words and correct myself. And you know, I feel like I talk very fast, but when I try to slow it down I just forget and I'll talk fast again. So there's aspects where I'm just like, oh, I'm probably, I don't know, not the best person when it comes to being on camera and whatnot, but at the same time I really do enjoy just on the like personable aspect of it. I feel like I can, you know, I enjoy so much more playing with makeup and sharing with you guys about makeup than I did when I was blogging about it, because I used to blog about makeup. I was never very good at, you know, taking pictures and whatnot. I've enjoyed writing. I've always enjoyed writing, but like taking pictures and trying to get, you know, really creative blog posts up, I wasn't ever very good at it, and I would struggle at it so much. So doing this, it's a lot more easy for me to feel like creatively satisfied, I guess, with how the final look and the final look of my videos and whatnot turn out. And I don't know, I just find that I enjoy it a lot more. I really do enjoy the editing process a lot more than I thought I would. I'm gonna take some NYX primer just because it's a habit, I always do. But I wasn't sure if I would find editing like enjoyable or not, but I actually really do. Like I said, it's very enjoyable. I love putting the videos together to flow. I like finding little things I can pop in to either like enhance the video and what you're watching, or to help, you know, help better get the point of the video across, or just to find something, you know, fun to be able to visually look at as I'm talking and whatnot. I like, you know, figuring out new edits and new transitions and whatnot. It's just been a lot of fun. And ever since I upgraded, I used to use iMovie to edit, and iMovie is very limiting, but ever since I upgraded to DaVinci Resolve, which is free, I feel like no one ever talks, like at least nobody in the beauty space ever talks about DaVinci Resolve, but it's basically like a Final Cut Pro, but it's free, and I can do so much on it that I mean, I was like this close to buying Final Cut Pro because that's what everyone uses, at least in the beauty space. Everyone who like upgrades is always like, oh, Final Cut Pro is the way to go, but Final Cut Pro is like $300 or something. But I was on the verge. I was like, okay, it'll be an investment. I really want to be able to do more creative things than iMovie will allow me, which iMovie will allow you to do some, you know, a lot of creative things, but it's like makes the process 10 times longer than, you know, with a Final Cut Pro or something. But anyway, DaVinci Resolve, if you are someone who also has, you know, been thinking about getting Final Cut Pro, I feel like get DaVinci Resolve and, you know, you can still upgrade from there, but it's like free, and that you can choose to have it set up and the layout be like Final Cut Pro if you want to like kind of have that as a tester to see if you want Final Cut Pro, and then you can always get it later. But it's free. I have DaVinci Resolve. I love it. I don't feel like I need Final Cut Pro anymore, and I save myself some money. But anyway, where was I going with this? Oh yeah, I love YouTube. Yes, I really do. So all that to say, I really enjoy the editing process. I find that very enjoyable. Okay, so for my shimmer, now that I have that on, let me see what I have. Okay, so I have Pink Chameleon. I'm kind of tempted. Maybe I'll just use that on my inner corner. It's like a pinky goldy shifty shade, and then a blue here, which is Caribbean Water, which is also super pretty, but it's kind of dark. I feel like a little dark for what I have here. Maybe I should just do her Pink Chameleon. Let me see. I feel like if I do this, I need to like conceal all that, you know? I'm gonna take this NBA Cosmetics, because it's like a liquid, so it kind of removes color a little bit when I use it. I'm gonna put that right on top. Hopefully it doesn't do anything funky with the NYX, but I'm going to put that right on top and use this to cut it out because it's so liquidy and watery. It actually does help to remove some of the color, and then we can move on. Okay, so I like how that turned out. I think that did exactly what I was wanting to. Just clean it up so it doesn't look messy when I place on that Pink Chameleon shade. Okay, next up, next question. You buy so many eyeshadow palettes, you don't know what to do with them. LOL, you feel guilty buying so many. This is a tough one. The beginning, you buy so many palettes that you don't know what to do with. I can kind of feel that sometimes. I feel like I go through waves where I feel like I can keep up pretty well, and then all of a sudden it just kind of like, I think it tends to be when there are a ton of releases, and it always tends to coincide when I'm like I'm trying not to look up so I don't crease this, so sorry if I'm looking down, but it coincides when like my personal life gets busy and then I get behind on things, and that's what's happened this last time and why I'm so busy. But I don't know, I feel like I'm definitely more selective, and I'm trying to, you know, say no more just so that it's manageable. But I would say I feel guilty buying more because I feel like with my YouTube channel, it serves a purpose because I can, you know, share a video, do looks with it, I can review it and stuff like that. So it's able, you know, it serves a purpose and whatnot. If I didn't have a YouTube channel, I definitely wouldn't be buying as many. But I would probably be that person who like buys a ton when it came to holiday, because I'm also that person who loves to get a deal. So I definitely wouldn't have as many as I do now. And I definitely would be saying no a whole lot more, because I just, you know, there wouldn't be as much of a reason. I could buy a couple, you know, rainbow palettes and I don't need to get more. But because I do have a channel, it is giving me more license to be able to buy more without feeling guilty. Like if I was buying as much as I was now and I didn't have a channel, didn't have an Instagram or anything, yeah, I think I'd be feeling a little bit guilty. But because I do have this channel, this outlet that I create content on and that I do get paid from, I don't know, I don't really feel guilty for buying it. But definitely, like I said, there are phases where I get behind on things and there's just so many releases and whatnot. I definitely try to slow it down and just kind of pace myself a lot more until I get caught up. And then I feel like, I don't know, you know, the beauty community also, I feel like comes and goes in waves. Isn't that gorgeous? I love it. This is still a little wet. Let me let that dry for a minute while I blend it out. I'm just gonna leave the red on it from the outer corner, but I'm gonna grab the more peachy, I don't know, that watermelon shade up here. I haven't used it yet, but I wanna just grab a little bit of that to blend over right here, just for a pop of another color. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh, the beauty community, I feel like the releases comes in waves and they all tend to like launch stuff beginning of the year, holiday season, and then I feel like getting into summer, but then they have phases where it's just like a lot of nothing. So I feel like that gives me time to catch up, or they're launching stuff. Some years I feel like, especially in previous years, they're just not up my alley. They're not type of, you know, palettes that I would enjoy. They're not my color stories, and I find it very easy to say no. But recently it's just been in the trend to be a lot more, you know, colorful, and also a lot more like grungy green, like hunter green, and like my type of color. So I think that's why I've just been going a little crazy, because brands are just launching so many great palettes that are just like the Wilderness palette from Beauty Bay. Oh, palettes like that just get me. But it comes in waves, because like who's to say next year, you know, they're gonna be launching things that I really do enjoy and that just grab me and I'm excited to try and whatnot. So all that to say, I don't feel guilty, but I definitely can feel overwhelmed at times. And when I do get to that point like I am right now, I just try to say no more. I still say yes though. I'm not someone to put myself on like, okay, I'm going on a no buy and I'm not going to buy anything for the next 6 months, because I don't know, like if a palette came out that I would really want, I'd just be like, okay, I'm buying. So it's like, what's the point of saying, you know, calling and putting myself on a no buy if I'm just gonna get it if the color story is just so me. Like the Beauty Bay Wilderness palette, if that launched and I was like on a no buy, I would just break the no buy. So anyway, I'm not someone to do a no buy, but I'm definitely trying to pull back a good bit and give myself time to go through what I do have currently waiting in the wings. So I think that answered the question. I don't know, but we'll keep on moving. This shadow is so pretty. It's a little bit funky right in here, but I think that has to do with the NBA glitter not being dry enough, because that's definitely an issue, and because this is such a transparent shadow, it can get a little gunked up. So I think that's just has to do with the wetness of the glitter glue or glitter primer that I used. Just kind of have to be more careful, and I don't think I was careful enough. So anyway, I'm gonna go into that pink like I did, and then we'll move on to the next question. I like how it turned out on this side with that pink. Okay, next question we have, I assume you sit and edit videos all night long as the kiddos and hubbies sleep. Pretty darn. I try to keep myself to a little bit of a schedule, just because at some point, like, I've done it too many times where I push myself and I push my body, and then my body will give and give and give, and then it'll come to a point where I don't just like crash and need sleep, but like I get sick, like physically sick. Usually it's like a fever, a runny nose, but it can also be like stomach issues, nausea. I've had it before where, and I think that was the worst I'd ever gotten, like to the tired point, but I was so overtired. I got a fever, very congested, very tired obviously, but I also was like super nauseous, and like the whole night I couldn't even like lay down, even though I was exhausted, but I couldn't even lay down because I would feel so nauseous I almost threw up. And I don't think have I ever actually thrown up from being so tired? I can't remember, but I definitely know that they're just like hours and hours of just so much nausea. I can't sleep, even though I know I need sleep in order to get over the nausea and feel better. So I've done that way too many times. I try to be a lot better with myself and like, you know, reminding myself like, Katie, if you don't catch up on sleep tonight, it's gonna end badly and you know it. And then, you know, it's not just like, oh, you have a day where you know, feel nauseous and then you catch up and you're fine. No, it can take a couple days for my body to like fully regain. I need so much sleep. It can, you know, my stomach can feel out of it for a while. I can feel nauseous for a couple days, and then on top of all that, I just feel very weak and my body just takes a while to recover from that. So I've done that a couple times and it's been so miserable. So I always keep that in the back of my mind when I have a couple nights where like I'm up at up till midnight or so, and then I'm awake at 5 or earlier and whatnot. And after I have a couple of those, I'm like, okay, Katie, when are you going to sleep early to catch up on sleep, because you don't want this to end badly. So I try to be very mindful of that, but for the most part, I feel like my schedule is like I stay up till 10:30ish. I try to like at 10 o'clock, I'm like, okay, wind down. That way I have time to like go put my PJs on, brush my teeth, and then go to bed and be in bed and actually like falling asleep at 10:30. That's always my goal. And then I wake up at 5:30 pretty much every day. So that's been my routine for a while. So I definitely like stay up very late and edit, but I try not to edit like literally all night long, though there are days, like some days where things happen. The other day, some footage of mine messed up and I didn't catch, or like I was late to edit it until the day before, and I was like, oh, that's fine. I have to upload it on Thursday. I'll edit it during Wednesday naps and it'll go up just fine. But then sitting down to do it Wednesday, the footage was messed up, so I had to go refilm it during nap, so I didn't get to actually sit down and edit it until Wednesday night. And that day, like I had to edit it Wednesday night, export it, upload it, and do the thumbnail and fill out the description box and tags and all that. I didn't go to bed till midnight then, but I tried to, you know, after doing that, giving myself the next night, be like, okay, Katie, get to bed early, you know, skip editing, just clean the house and go to bed, because I don't want to deal with what my body does if I get too tired, because it's just a rough ride. So yeah, I definitely edit late at night, and I always like to get some editing in at night after the kids are asleep. And if my husband's already asleep, then that's definitely like, he's already asleep, like he's not gonna know or care when I get into bed. So I'll definitely edit on those nights. But if I'm ever like done cleaning and my husband's still awake, especially like tends to be on the weekend, because like during the week he's so tired, he's usually asleep before the kids are, but on the weekends he'll stay up later. And so if I'm ever done and kind of winding down for the night and he's still awake, I'll go to bed with him, just because it's nice to be able to go to bed with your spouse when you can. But it definitely is weird on those nights, because like I'm such a night owl that some nights, like unless I'm like super tired, then it's like, okay, great, I'm going to bed early, catching up on sleep, this is awesome. But some nights it's like, going to bed early, like I could be doing things, I'm not that tired. But it's good to get rest, and it's good to have that time to just kind of like fall asleep and talk with him, because that can, you know, talking to your spouse can be hard to get when you have children. So I take it whenever I can get it, and if he's awake, that's rare too, because also he you know, is just usually so exhausted by the time he goes to bed that I don't talk to him because I'm not in bed yet. Or like he's so tired that like he lays down and shuts the light off, and like literally I can count to 10 and he's asleep. Like he can fall asleep so quickly, and I am not like that, which tends to be why I like to do stuff, because again, kind of going back to that first video, I talked about how like I like to do things, I don't like to be idle. So for me, it's like I could stay up an extra 30 minutes and edit, or you know, edit a video and whatnot, and then feel tired to the point where when I crawl into bed, I just go to bed instantly. Or I could go to bed now, not feel super tired, and then just lay there and think about random things trying to fall asleep. And that's why I tend to like to edit videos at night, because it kind of gets me to that tired point, because I stop moving, I'm sitting down and I'm editing, I'm like, oh yeah, you're pretty tired, Katie. But if I just try to jump into bed after running around, putting the kids to bed, clean the house and whatnot, it can take me a little while to, you know, like kind of wind down from all that. So I find editing a really nice kind of segue to falling asleep. Either that or grabbing a book, because if I try to read, that'll also put me right to sleep. Okay, so anyway, now that I've done all that, let's go ahead and move to the lower lash line. I really like that shimmer. Okay, so I don't even know where I left off. My camera battery died, I had to replace that, and then my sister called, so I was talking with her, so we're just gonna pick a question and carry on. And I'm sorry if this part of the video is a little chaotic. This recording session has been quite interesting, but anyway. Next question I'm going to answer is, my assumption is you're not really into watching television or movies. Even if you had the time, you'd rather spend your time doing something else, like trying a new recipe, for example. Yes, I feel like I kind of answered this, you know, not meaning to, but I just kind of gave the answer in my last assumptions video. But I'm someone who, I don't like to like not be doing anything. So I even said there, like even as a teen when I was into watching movies and I would enjoy sitting down and watching a movie, I still had to have something in my hand. I'm gonna go in with just the reds or pinks, I guess, for my lower lash line. But yeah, I always would have something in my hand. I was really big into like cross stitch and knitting. I feel like knitting even more so when I was watching a movie because I could knit without looking. So unless I was getting into like a tricky spot where I had to like count my stitches, I could just knit and watch the movie and I didn't even have to break eye contact. This pink is giving me some fallout. So trying to clean that up as I go. But anyway, yeah, that's definitely an accurate assumption. I'd rather be, like, I don't mind enjoying a video, especially if I'm like interested in it. But if I am going to sit down and enjoy a video, I'm gonna have something in my hands to do. But at the same time too, I like to get things done. Like she said, like trying a new recipe. I do enjoy that too, but I don't mind sitting and doing stuff either. I feel like that's something else I'm like, oh yeah, like I'll find something that I can sit down, which is why I like editing so much, because I'm able to sit down and relax and not have to be running all over the house. And I find that very enjoyable, but I'm still getting something accomplished. Okay, next question. You have your hands full with kids, hubby, gardening, YouTube, and family. You don't take time for yourself. I feel like I answered this. I did answer the don't take time for yourself in the other one. So just maybe go watch. I feel like I keep saying that. Oh, I answered it last time. But I do feel like I take time for myself because like right now I am doing my makeup and sitting down having a relaxing time getting to put my makeup on, and I'm taking a break from like running around in the house and stuff like that. So like I said in the last video, it kind of depends on what it means to take time for yourself. But for me personally, like taking time for myself is just doing something that I feel like I can relax with and I find enjoyable, so that when it's done and I'm back on being a mom, the kids are all awake and I got, you know, jobs to do and whatnot to take care of them and do dinner, I feel like I've had a rest, like a break in the craziness and the busyness of the day and whatnot. So that's what I find to be like taking time for myself, and that's what like doing my makeup in the morning. I get up early before the kids so that I have that time to do my makeup, and I find it a really nice and relaxing way to wake up and listen to something and put my makeup on, so that by the time the kids wake up, I'm wide awake and ready for the day. And then, you know, in the middle of the day like today, I'll record a video or edit. I find that very relaxing and, you know, something I can do for me. So I feel like I take time for my, time for myself, but again, I guess it depends on what exactly qualifies like take time for yourself. I'm gonna go in with Moon Cruiser from Kaleidos Makeup, and I'm gonna use that for my inner corner after I get a question. Your house is perfect and organized. We've already been over this. It is not. It is organized to an extent. I'm a very like chaotic organizer, I guess you can call that. I'm a big fan of like bins and baskets and stuff, and then things within those just get thrown into them, but everything has their bin, basket, that sort of thing. Like in my kids' playroom, we have a little a bookshelf that I use to organize all the toys, and on each of the bookshelves I've found baskets to fit in it, and you know, different size to really fit the shelf, because all the shelves are different sizes. It's one of those like cube type of ones, but they're all different sizes. Anyway, not that that's important, but I found baskets, and everything, each of the baskets has a type of toy that goes in it. So when I do go in there once a week and really deep clean it all, I have a bin for cars, I have a bin for animals, I have a bin for blocks, I have a bin for those magnet tiles, I have a bin for everything, and I can just go clean up and just toss it in. So if you actually open each of the bins, it's just a mess in there. However, everything has its place, so then the place is organized. And same with like my kitchen, everything has a place. In my pantry, I have a lot of baskets and stuff, so I can just throw things into them. In my cabinets and stuff, I don't really have any like perfect organizing. There's just, you know, I have a shelf for cups, and there's no kind of like special way to put them. I just put them in there. I have an area, a lower cabinet to put my kids' cups, and there is no organization in there. There is just a big like tray that I can pull out, and the kids can pick their cups, and everything just gets thrown in there because it's low, so that my kids can get cups for themselves if they want. But because it's low, my 1.5-year-old is always in there pulling things out and throwing it around, so there's no point for me personally in organizing that, so I don't organize that. So I don't consider myself very organized at all. I don't know why I'm putting on more mascara. I just am. But it's organized enough for me to feel like everything has its place, and at the end of the night I can throw everything into their respective places and it feels put together and, like all done. So that's kind of my organization. But at the same time, I know it's not very like organized in like the traditional sense of an organized and neat and orderly house, but it works for me and I am a-okay with that. But I don't consider myself to be like an organized person. Last question, you either don't drink alcohol or drink very rarely. I don't drink alcohol. Honestly, if I was someone who drank alcohol, I think I've been pregnant or nursing since the spring of 2015. I'm still nursing my 1.5-year-old. So I don't think you can. Maybe you can if you're nursing. I really don't know. I don't drink alcohol, so I don't get into it, but I'm pretty sure, definitely not when you're pregnant, and I don't think you're supposed to when you're nursing, so it would be out of the question anyway. But I've sipped wine before. Not my thing. I just think that it smells and kind of tastes like yeast, and I'm just like, why would I want to drink that? And then anything harder than that, I've had sips every now and then when we're at parties and whatnot, back before I was pregnant or nursing. I didn't grow up with it. My parents never drank anything. They didn't even drink wine. I didn't really see wine until like my grandparents came because they enjoyed wine. And then as a teen and as an adult, I don't know. It just has no appeal to me. If I'm gonna drink something, I'm always like, hey, I'll take a Coca-Cola. I think Coca-Cola tastes amazing and I'm happy with that. So yeah, I don't really drink at all. So that is a safe assumption. I just have no appeal to it, so I've never kind of gone down that avenue to see like what I can have and like what I might be interested in having. So anyway, that is gonna do it for today's look. I really like how the look turned out. Super duper pretty. I love the mix of colors, and then that shimmer on the lid, Pink Chameleon from DJ's Unique Boutique. She sent this to me a while ago, so I don't know if it's still available, but if it is still available, look how beautiful it is. I think it's so pretty. I really like how it turned out. I've never used it all over my lid, but I definitely like it. It's a little bit like flaky in that like it's very sheer, so you have to kind of pack it on to get it to be very pigmented and kind of not look sheer. And in doing that, it can get a little chunky, so just take your time and kind of smooth it out and build it up slowly, and I don't think you'll have any issues. But with saying that, I don't think I have a ton of fallout on my face, so that's good. And then the mattes, I feel like this little snack pack palette, I've been super happy with it. Like I said, I feel like if these three colors had something else in it instead, something else colorful, maybe even just leave this. Like I don't mind one, but like, I don't know, three of them just seems a little bit of an overkill for such a bright and colorful palette. I wish they would have put something else there. But as it stands, it's a nice palette. I think the pigmentation is very nice. I've enjoyed it. I've never had any skipping issues, never had any wear time issues. So overall, super happy with it. Super excited to finally be able to share with you guys my thoughts in a video. So yeah, that is going to do it for this video, kind of finishing the answering your assumptions about me and using that palette. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I always love to hear like topic suggestions of what I can talk about, because I don't know, sometimes I just don't have anything interesting to talk about in my life and I'm like, what am I going to talk about today? So feel free to let me know that down below in the comments. I don't think I said, but I have DJ's Unique Boutique lip gloss and brown sugar. That's what I threw on my lips. But yeah, with all that said, thank you guys so very much for watching, and I'll see you guys very soon in my next video. Bye guys.